All right, everybody.
Charlie.
This is the, what are we?
Sure.
We are
You did.
July.
Yes.
This is
The
the
July
July
meeting.
2025 meeting of the Wharf District Council. Welcome, everyone. We have a, let's see, we have half the police force here. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, you can't see them, but they're down there. As usual, we're going to start off with the A1 update.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Zach Crossan from the A1 Community Service Office. Real quick, I think that Captain Driscoll should be joining us in just a moment, Captain for the A1 district. We'll go around the room real quick. We got Lieutenant McCarthy, the A1 Executive Officer, second in charge. Dave?
Hello, everyone. My name is Sergeant David Hernandez. I work with the Community Interaction Team in District A1.
Don't want to stay with this yet.
Yeah, so the Community Interaction Team is just a different way to connect with the community, kind of go back to how things were before. A little bit of going out into the community, addressing the problems head on, more targeted enforcement, getting out to the businesses, talking to individuals, getting firsthand information so that we can, best address the issues and concerns that you guys have.
Great. Can you guys on Zoom hear okay? Yeah, good. Okay, great.
Next, we have Rebecca. Rebecca?
Hi, I'm an analyst, community contact analyst, so I'm assisting A1 and community service office with stats, predominantly quality of life stats. I'm also helping with the stats for the downtown safety initiative.
Have you been here before?
No, it's
No, she has not.
Welcome.
a fairly new position.
It's a great position. A lot of the stuff we do is data driven. We talk about calling 911 to get things on the record, 311 to get things documented and let us know what's happening, right? Because if it didn't get written down, it's more like it didn't happen, right? So Rebecca has, she works for the BRIC, the Boston Regional Intelligence Center. And this is the BRIC's attempt to get analysts out into the community to hear directly from constituents and residents what are the concerns. Most people only hear about the BRIC in a negative light involving things like the gang database, et cetera. But the BRIC is far more than that. It's we deal with break-ins, larcenies, missing persons, various issues that we see around here. And Rebecca's been instrumental in helping us analyze that data and then deploying our resources, cops, money, overtime, et cetera, dollars, where they're best suited and best effective. So that's something that we're really appreciative, lucky to have this asset. Next is Mike Pistachio. Everyone knows Frank Champa.
Yep.
So Frank was just promoted. Just got promoted and we found out he's gonna be going to Mattapan on the midnight shift. So we're losing Frank. So big shoes to fill, but in Frank's absence, we're gonna have Mike now. Mike, want to tell them about yourself?
Yep, I've been working in A1 since 2019. I grew up in Zapata and I still live there. I've been there for life, so technology was great. So in this position.
Yeah. So Mike's gonna be awesome. It'd be great to have someone that lives in the neighborhood and works in the neighborhood, kind of has a little bit of that extra buy-in, concern about what we're doing here. So you're all gonna get a chance to work with him very closely going forward. I believe they're working on the infrastructure this week, and then next week, the actual cameras will be going up. So the trustees over at 65 and 85 were gracious enough to provide that resource for the city, putting up some cameras that we'll have access to. There's a robbery that happened right around the corner that at this point we don't have enough video footage to go much further on it. Without knowing which way the person fled, or even if we have a very, very, very vague description. The person was hit over the back of the head, didn't see who took their purse and property from them. So it's probably gonna go unsolved. With these cameras covering a lot of these blind spots, we'll be able to see that. And another issue that we have that at some point, maybe Josh can even touch on too, but our detectives wanted us to mention it. Not only for the crime stuff, but missing people, missing persons. We do get people that fall off the docks at night. Some people, some of it's suicide, some of it's also just heavily intoxicated. The last one they'll read is I think screwing around on the waterfront and went in the water. So these cameras would be very helpful in kind of all aspects of public safety. And the final one that I'll read is an auto theft on 100 Broad Street, just up the way here. The victim reported that on Wednesday, July 2nd, they left their spare key in the vehicle. They went to lock their car, but the spare key was in the car. So when you pull on the door handle, it thinks the key is nearby and unlock the car. They ended up getting in the car, starting the car, taking off with it, and the app was showing, must have a Mercedes, has an app, that you can see where your car is, GPS thing. And they saw the car was driving around in Revere. Then at that point, the GPS feature was somehow disabled and the person couldn't figure out where their car is. But again, that was on Broad Street up the way. Just a good reminder, park your car in the city, pick your key. We'll finish up with the harbor report.
Thanks for passing this over, Zach. On June 27th, my offices, along with A1 officers, responded over Rose Wharf for a person who was attempting to do a backflip, missed his landing, smashed his face, and then fell into the water. He was pulled out of the water and transported for care. Not necessarily a crime in this case, but
I think it was important to note that the harbor unit was the one who they were escorting a ferry out or a cruise ship or something of
that's
that.
correct, yes.
And witnessed it happen, and was able to immediately call it in and get the rescue folks to come down and fish this individual out of the water. How do we want to do this? I know you guys want to hear a little bit about the harbor unit, what their roles are, responsibilities. Do you want to field some questions? I did kind of blindside with Josh a little bit on this. So any questions specifically that we want to ask that we talked about last month that he could maybe field or do his best to get answers on and get back to you on questions you had?
I just want to mention one thing, which is that BHCC is right now in the midst of installing additional security cameras around the property along Wharf.
Excellent.
And be valuable to you perhaps to come and take a look at those once that installation is complete. And we've done that in response to various incidents that have taken place and to increase security for BHCC, but I think it'll also be useful to the city and to be used with various things that happen around that area.
It's very helpful. I'm sure Zach he's very well versed in camera systems in the city. I'm sure there's a way we can link them with the appropriate permission so that we can view them not only on the harbor side, but also on the district side.
Yes. That pathway back behind the Marriott Lawn is a concern at times. I certainly want to introduce you. If you haven't met them yet, I want to introduce you to our port captain, Adam Murphy, and our director of safety, Jeff Taylor. And so I can make some introductions to you.
Yeah,
I do have one question.
I hope I can answer.
What's your position or your
I
thoughts?
can't answer.
What's your position or your thoughts about jet skis in Boston Harbor?
So as you know, there's a no wake zone, headway speed zone from Logan Airport in. And so the jet skis in the harbor are obviously a problem when they're operating erratically. But they are a registered vessel just like any other. And so if they're doing the right thing, there's really no way that we can keep them out.
Is there some kind of protocol about them getting off the water around sunset?
Yeah, so they're only supposed to operate during daylight hours. They're supposed to have appropriate safety equipment, an EFD, and be of appropriate age to be operating the vehicle. There are some concerns about groups of jet skis meeting up and causing some havoc in the harbor, and we try to address those as quickly as possible when we hear about them and in advance. So I know there was one about a month ago. There was a meetup somewhere else where one of the skis came into East Boston and struck a sailboat. That's under investigation by the environmental police. We do the best we can. We are the only agency that's out in the harbor 24/7, 365. We are staffed fully year round and the primary responding agencies of the harbor. We do share jurisdiction with other agencies, the environmental police, the state police, Mass Board. But with that being said, we would typically field all calls in the harbor with any concerns. And if it's a non-emergency, then you can always call the office or reach out to me. We actually created a very easy email address, Boston Harbor Master at pd.boston.gov. So it's the same as our police department emails with the pd.boston.gov, but it's the Boston Harbor Master. So if you do have questions and you just want to send them to the general mailbox, which also goes to me, Boston Harbor Master is a little easier to remember than my name. So
Does 911 go to you as well?
So 911 will go to our operations center and they will dispatch the calls as appropriate. Oftentimes, if it's anything along the shoreline, we will be dispatched, as Sergeant Cross mentioned earlier, with missing persons calls and things of the sort. We always run the shoreline, and we actually also have a drone unit that is kind of growing in popularity within our department that we're trying to utilize in those missing persons cases also.
So that's just Boston Harbor Master at bpd.gov.
Boston Harbor Master at pd.boston.gov.
Ah, got it. Thank you.
Police Department.boston.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
My question about was noise level of some of those boats.
So noise level of some of the boats, right? So the city does have the noise ordinance that we always try to enforce. And when they are in the harbor, we obviously
Is there a time on that they have to,
so the times are.
It's 11, but are you talking about exhaust pipes, like
but the boat, those big boats that are,
like the go fast boats
yeah,
with the engines?
yeah.
It's,
I mean, it didn't, you know, if it's like got a party boat, and the speakers are blaring and it's got,
It's-
you know,
they're not going fast, they're
Yes.
docking, and the noise.
but it's, I mean, they're underway.
you know, it's
So-
difficult.
If they were blasting Katy Perry super loud on the speakers and it was obnoxious that way,
Then we can handle
then
it.
we can handle it. But the engines, those are tough. It's like, so there is, in the laws, there are exemptions to the noise ordinance for things like construction and delivery trucks and things of that nature. I don't think it specifies boats by any means,
Okay.
but I would argue that if they're just sitting on the harbor, just revving and revving and revving, okay. But
They're not.
yeah, but if they're just docking,
So those are the same guys that were on Atlantic Avenue going vroom, vroom, vroom.
then they get in their boat and they go vroom, 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 I know.
Unlike cars, with cars, there's emissions regulations and altered exhaust and things that we can pick up along the motor vehicle enforcement side of things. There are no emissions regulations that I'm aware of when it comes to vessels on the water. You're welcome.
Any other questions? Is there a hand up down here, maybe?
There's no licensing requirements to operate a boat?
There are, there's a sliding scale as to who needs to be licensed and by when. And oftentimes the state will implement these things without necessarily an appropriate plan to take action. And I think there's a lot of questions being asked about that, and the state's doing the best they can to respond as quickly as possible.
Well, Peggy was bringing up the sound of big tiny boats that have, evident real boom, boom, boom ability to really disturb the public. I've noticed they kind of quit at 11. Is that some kind of requirement for them?
It is, it goes from 70 to 50 decibels at 11. So if they're doing it at 11, then they're following the ordinance. Water travels over sound, that's one of our big issues over in Charlestown, is the anchor, it's a bar. Sound travels very well, there's nothing blocking, no trees, no, nothing, it's just openness.
Yeah.
And I get a lot of complaints for that, we go over there and we measure the noise, and it's right at, 69.9, 70 kind of on the button. And there's nothing we can do, there's nothing around to muffle it, so it travels forever.
Yeah.
The 70, yeah, at 11 PM, the ordinance does drop down to 50 decibels, which is a little over a conversation.
Okay,
So.
so that's in place.
Councilor Flynn?
I'm sorry, so I don't remember your name, but can you explain?
Yeah, absolutely. So, my name is David Hernandez, one of the sergeants during the days, here in A1. And so my responsibility is essentially to take a team of officers, typically a 4 to 6 person team, and address some of the issues that you guys may have in a specific area. Right now, our target area has been the downtown crossing and Boston Common area, along with a lot of these guys here. Like, it's a full team, full shift effort a lot of the time, full station effort to address some of the drug concerns and quality of life issues down there. And we've done a really good job of that, so that's been our priority and concern, but with the quality of life issues starting to diminish in those specific areas, we're looking to kind of expand to different parts of the district and figure out what else is going on so we can start to target some of the issues and concerns that you guys may have.
So are you all on foot?
Well, it depends, like today I'm in plain clothes, other days I'll have my uniform, it really dictates on what it is that we're addressing. So if it's like drug related activity, a lot of times we'll have the guys in uniform, in plain clothes. But if it's just like, you're asking for more presence in a specific area because there's a lot of disturbance, we'll be in full uniform, we'll have cars, or we have this other car called the Gator, which is kind of like a ATV if
Golf cart.
golf carts can take.
Oh,
And we'll drive around through the greenway sometimes, or sometimes my guys will be on the bikes, like bicycles, will have the bright yellow uniforms. So every day is a little bit different. It just really dictates on what the plan is for the day.
And what, kind of a different subject, but all the scooters that are drive everybody crazy, they're on the sidewalks, they have the licenses, how are you doing with that? I know there was a push in downtown.
Yeah, no, we've actually done a pretty good job of it. We've done some serious scooter enforcement. I don't have the exact numbers at the moment.
120 or so.
Yeah.
In the last, like,
120.
in the last like 100 days, we seized 100 and, do you see the number was? Yeah, like 120 or so.
Yeah, so we've had,
Penalty.
what we've done is a lot of enforcement. So a lot of the people that were coming down here, most of them were doing Uber Eats or DoorDash or whatever it may be, and a lot of them weren't registered. So the state law changed in the last couple of months in regards to registering the scooters and mopeds. And so a lot of our enforcement was based on that. So we were seizing a lot of scooters that weren't registered or unlicensed operations. And so like Zach was saying, we have had up to 100, around 120 that we've seized over the last 100 days. So we've done a pretty good job, and we've seen a significant increase in people with registered plates now, licenses, and we'll still do the stops. As a matter of fact, yesterday, I think, one of the mid shift, which is 4 to midnight, Jared Giroux, he was out there. He works with the community interaction team on the first half. He was out there, and I think he sees like 7 scooters, something like that. So we're continuing the efforts. It's gonna continue, but I think we're definitely making progress with that. And more importantly, they have group chats that we found out about where they'll inform other scooters just to not come downtown.
Where are you?
Because,
Yeah.
not just where we are, but just not to come into the area because they know that we'll stop them.
But this was a complaint that was taken so seriously that, through the number 301s and now one calls right through the data collection that the analysts look at and say, hey, this complaint has come in thousands of times across the city, et cetera, that the city council was forced to take up the issue, right? And they're regulated, and they're not gonna solve every single scooter issue, but if they solve a third of them, that's a third of the problem that's disappeared, or half of them, et cetera. And then they obviously want to.
Citywide issue.
Citywide issue, yeah.
They're
But if you're,
Sees the scooter or whatever, you keep it, or does the?
We don't, it goes to the tow yard, and then it becomes a,
Why, you need one?
yeah, if you're looking for a, I just want a good price. To get it back is, you need the,
need the proper
Yeah,
payment.
title,
So you're gonna need to have it
sale.
registered. You have to go through all the whole process of getting their vehicle back. It's like any other vehicle, so they have to get it registered, they have to have a person with a license, they have to have a title. If they didn't have that before, so in order to get it back, a lot of times it just ends up getting seized and just stays there. Because they don't have the proper paperwork, or it was a previously stolen scooter, right? So then we're also finding these scooters that have been stolen in the past, so we're addressing a lot of the issues in that regard too.
Well, thank you for your efforts on that, much needed.
Yeah.
I noticed about a month or more ago.
I know.
yeah, I think they did that on their own.
Trying to get shuttle buses going, but.
Yeah,
Well, now
It was
it's
sad.
a tunnel now.
it was sad, yeah, right.
I was told that there was a second incident, when one of the trains went off through rails or whatever this afternoon, lost electricity. It lost electricity.
I'll be perfectly honest with you, I deal mostly with above ground stuff. So, I could get you an answer, I have to call our T counterparts though.
It was on the news,
It was on the, oh, it's on the news.
so it's easy.
Yeah.
Great. Again, thank you.
Thank you all, thank you.
This is what you do every day.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
Does everyone have my contact information as well? All right, 911 is a great resource. I just want to keep reiterating that. Okay, we're a data-driven, stats-driven organization. We can't argue for more resources down here, especially in this area. Unless folks either, let us know what's going on. All right, 911, 311 is great, or at least, shoot me an email and stuff.
Can I ask you a
Yeah.
question regarding that? Do you have any statistics on how many people are hurt on scooters or bicycles?
Is that something you go? Is that,
I can
yeah,
look into that,
yeah, I will get you an answer.
I don't think we've seen that much of it. Yeah, I don't think we've had too many pedestrian scooter accidents. But I can think of
Yeah,
none,
nothing that would cause great alarm.
nothing fatal or any major injuries.
But I will get you an answer.
Thank you. To everybody who's on Zoom, I apologize. I'm literally sitting here and it is cutting off, so at this point, I can't contain neither credit nor blame for that.
It's all right, I'll blame you anyway.
Yeah, right. We are delighted to have Councilor Flynn with us to part of our district. And it's been a long time. Advocate for the Wharf District, for which we are very appreciative, and thank you for joining us and tell us a little bit what's going on in your world.
Thank you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys. Well, thank you, Marc, and to the Wharf District Council for inviting me, and as Marc mentioned, I'm honored to represent part of the Wharf District. I've represented part of the Wharf District now for going on 8 years. And I love representing this community. My wife and I love coming over here. One main point I wanted to highlight with you is I treat this neighborhood as any traditional neighborhood in Boston, where we focus on basic city services, quality of life issues. As Sergeant Crossan said, public safety is as important here as any other neighborhood. And we want to make sure we keep this a safe neighborhood. We had extremely difficult couple of years. I worked closely with Sergeant Crossan on Downtown Crossing, on Boston Common, which is obviously right down the road here a little bit. What happens there has an impact at the Wharf District. It has an impact on the Rose Kennedy Greenway. It's good to see our good friend Chris here as well. I know he's speaking later. But it's those public safety issues, quality of life issues. In one thing that Sergeant Crossan mentioned, and I just want to reiterate as well, is when you see something, please dial 911. If you think it's an emergency, that dictates the police presence in particular neighborhoods. We need more police in Boston. We need more police in this neighborhood, and I'm doing the best I can, knowing I'm up against city council colleagues that really don't want to see more resources spent on public safety. I literally went to City Hall every day fighting for more resources for basic city services, for public safety services here in the Wharf District and in my other neighborhoods of Chinatown, South Boston, the South End. The other part of the South End I represent was struggling greatly with mass and counts. I represent about 2/3 of the South End. So I have an extremely challenging district, but what it's all about for me is returning phone calls, returning emails, helping people navigate basic city services, helping businesses, helping residents. It's about your quality of life. You pay huge taxes in Boston, and you're going to continue to pay huge taxes in Boston, but you deserve good quality services. You deserve a good quality of life. And at times, I don't think you get that. And that's my job, is to advocate for you every day at City Hall on behalf of this district. And again, I'm honored to represent this district. I will stop there and take any questions from anybody. And again, just want to say thank you for the opportunity to represent you. I am being a little shameless that I am on the ballot in September and November. And I would respectfully ask for your consideration if you are in my district. And even if you're not in my district, maybe you can vote for me anyway. No, that's only a joke. Yeah.
I live at the Intercontinental, and
Yeah.
you've been so kind. We have an issue with the Intercontinental, right next to 470 Atlantic Avenue, which is a building that's being converted into lab space.
Yeah.
And right now, it's it can have a level 1 and level 2, which I understand is fairly innocuous. But the Intercontinental's been dealing with these people to say, we don't want a level 3 there. Level 3 could be dangerous to everybody in the whole area, both health wise and property value wise, because at that point they may have viruses and other stuff. Company that owns it is from China and fun. So I'd like, if you could bring us up to date on that situation, I'd appreciate it, Councilor Clinton.
Yeah, thank you. I know we've met before on that particular issue. And this group is out of China, and they have their Boston headquarters in Fort Point down the road. But what they are seeking to do is to come here and open and expand their presence in the neighborhood. And I've heard from residents about how important it is for us not to have these particular biolabs, especially in residential neighborhoods. And there is a huge distinction between 1, 2, and 3. And it's about residents being heard at City Hall. And that's the information I have right now on the biolab. I can give a little bit more information as it relates to the Intercontinental too about Birdo. I know you are dealing with issues as it relates to when you are renovating a building, if it's so many square feet, you have to now be in compliant with environmental regulations implemented by the city of Boston. And it's having a huge, in my opinion, negative impact on owners of condos or apartments. And I think that's happening right now at the Intercontinental as well. I think we're scheduled to meet soon, maybe over the next couple of weeks. But it's those types of issues that we really have to work together on, whether it's environmental issues. We certainly support environmental regulations, but we also understand not everybody is able to make a $50,000 contribution to their condo complex so that they can upgrade needed services in their building. So it is having an impact. Not only you're paying huge condo fees, you're paying huge property taxes as well. So you're getting hit both.
I think we'll all be interested in that, how that goes, because Birdo is gonna affect everybody.
It is, and I think at some point, in my opinion, when the economy is not going well, such as now, it might be an opportunity for us to look again at Birdo and to see the impact it's having on homeowners, on condo owners. Because if you're not able to update your apartment building with needed services, because you have to pay these huge fees to be in compliance with Birdo, that's also not good for the neighborhood as well. I think the city did go overboard on Birdo regulations, in my opinion. And it's having a negative impact on residents such as here, but also really across the city that moved into older buildings, condo buildings, maybe before the 1980s or the 1970s, and they need updates. And now because you have to update the building, you have to pay almost added fees because you have to be in compliant now with City of Boston environmental regulations.
Well, what can we do about this?
Thank you, Suzanne. I would say continue working with me, but also continue working with the city administration and letting them know that these regulations are having a negative impact on residents in their quality of life. I think there's a perception, in my opinion, that just because you live in a beautiful building, that you're very wealthy. I don't think that's necessarily the case all the time. A lot of people that I know live in wonderful buildings like that, but they're still struggling to pay property tax. I've fought against increasing property taxes here in Boston. They wanted to increase them on residents and businesses. But I think those are important questions also to ask at-large city councilors, and they're strong supporters of those types of environmental regulations. But I think we have to have some common sense approaches as we go forward, especially during difficult economic times.
Norm, do you know where you guys are?
We're actually, Harbor Towers is in pretty good shape on Birdo,
Okay,
out through about 2035.
okay.
And so,
Yeah, I know Rose Wharf is also, but that's largely because we've been doing things along the way that ended up being.
Same here, and we engaged a company that actually makes improvements and guarantees you certain savings.
Right.
Okay.
Is there savings on energy usage in exchange for the paying them a fee?
Yeah,
Okay,
so that's something to look at, Ray, because there are ways of financing it differently.
when I can,
I'm going to these meetings with these Vero people. I mean, they're all young people and they don't seem to really care. About what's going on, here's the regulation and just comply. I mean, I don't find them very flexible, to be honest with you.
I agree with you. When I come for the next meeting on that issue, I think in the next couple of weeks, I'll bring some information about it. And maybe in the meantime, if I can get a little bit of information from the company you guys use, maybe I can pass it along to the Intercontinental as well.
Send it to you.
All right, that'd be great.
Council, can I ask a question? I'm sure you're familiar with the Mike Bowen report on transportation or bike lanes or whatever you want to call it. And obviously this is election season, so that may mean nothing's gonna happen, but do you have any thoughts on what next steps might be?
Yeah, thank you. So the Mike Broll, who's the superintendent of kind of basic city services up at Public Works, who's a career person, he does an exceptional job at the city. And Chris knows him well. But he produced a report basically that said that let's slow down on bike infrastructure, and not only slow down, but let's review what we have done already over the last couple of years. And
Including State Street, which was,
including State Street, and in my opinion, State Street, it's an embarrassment. And it's my favorite street, literally in Boston. I love State Street, but the way they implemented the changes, infrastructure changes there is an embarrassment. And I continue to talk to residents and businesses. But the Broll report itself, there hasn't been any follow-up really on what the next steps would be. But I put out a report asking for a commission that the city would establish that would kind of take it a next step further of before bike lanes are implemented, there really has to be a structured community engagement process. Residents really have to be heard and listened to and respected. And Suzanne, we must have went to 15 or 20 State Street meetings, at least 4 or 5 on site. And regardless of what the residents said, regardless of what the businesses said, regardless of what I said, the chief of streets unilaterally decided what he thought was best. Franklin Hodge, he decided what he thought was best.
We're in year 6.
We're in year 6.
well, and sidewalks are crumbling, the place is falling apart. You say it's an embarrassment.
Yeah, and we see the sidewalk situation, not just here in the downtown of the Wharf district, but across the city. But the sidewalks are in very difficult shape. The infrastructure is poor. And, it's a violation of ADA, Americans with Disability Act. Persons with disabilities, seniors. You see young families taking their kids to school, walking over crooked sidewalks, people with issues, quality of life issues. We really need to refocus again on those. And that's what I'm going to continue doing. I actually called for a city council hearing on that. And we have to put more resources into that, into sidewalks and to streets. But one of the big issues is the funding, certainly funding, but the city of Boston entered into a decree basically having to pay or invest rather. I think it's like $500 million over the next 5 years or 10 years to upgrade our sidewalks so that the ramps are ADA compliant. So our sidewalks are not ADA compliant because the ramps coming off them are not in compliance. So the city entered into an agreement with the government and they have to invest $500 million into this over the next 5 years or 10 years. So that is financially having an impact on streets and sidewalks.
Is that a good or bad thing?
It's good we're investing the money, but it's also taking away from basic city services. And it's taking away from the ordinary fixing of sidewalks and streets, with the exception of ramps, of ADA ramps and sidewalks.
So it's just for ramps, not for sidewalks.
It's mostly for ramps coming off the sidewalk, so people in wheelchairs or seniors can kind of walk up that little ramp.
And then they go up the ramp and they trip on the broken.
Yeah.
I know, yeah. Well, you're also seeing, one of the major problems we're seeing is in my neighborhood, in the south end, I mean, in South Boston, the south end too. But the trees, the roots of the trees are buckling the sidewalks up, and they're almost at like a V section.
Yeah.
And you're almost walking up a hill and then down a hill. Imagine doing that as a senior and person with disability. Many of you know my parents, and they're in their mid-80s, and they're having a very difficult time walking to the library or walking to the supermarket because of how poor the conditions are of the sidewalk.
Could I just read 2 sentences from Michael Bowler?
Yeah.
He was invited to the meeting tonight, and he got back to me, actually. I knew he couldn't attend, but he said he would get back to me, with something, and this morning I got 2 sentences. Unfortunately, I cannot make the meeting, but I can update you on the following. The streets team is planning to repave State Street in the construction season, so long as their timing allows, in order to bring the street up to an improved state of repair. More conversations will occur about any long-term planning/design efforts.
Thank you, Suzanne. And one of the issues I mentioned is, I don't want to be political, but you do have 4 at-large city councilors. And when they come to the Wharf District Council and they talk to you about what their priorities are, ask them specifically what they're doing to support the Wharf District neighborhood. And how are they supporting quality of life issues, neighborhood services, supporting public safety. They're not advocating for public safety resources, in my opinion, my colleagues on the city council. I don't want to talk negative about them, but I'm going to. But that's the job of a city council. You have to advocate for your constituents. And there's nothing glamorous about being a city councilor. It's just nuts and bolts of city government, neighborhood services, quality of life issues. And it's addressing those issues and returning phone calls and emails.
So, Councilor, you mentioned nuts and bolts. The Northern Avenue Bridge with its nuts and bolts falling into the water.
They're falling in.
What's happening?
As you know, there's been a huge pause on that for a long period of time. And the issue, in my opinion, revolves around the following. Some residents in some of the South Boston elected officials, including Congressman Lynch, who represents the area, due to the fact that we need to get federal money for the bridge. We want to see, and myself included, we want to see a beautiful bridge built that would especially allow first responder vehicles on it. There's another group that does not necessarily want vehicles on it. So for many years, it hasn't gone forward, in my opinion, based on that issue and that issue alone.
But what about the demolition of what's there?
Right.
I mean, that has to happen first in any case.
That bridge needs to be taken down.
Yeah.
That needs to be taken
Where
down.
are we on that, you know?
It's going to be taken
It
down.
is, okay.
Yeah, and I think some parts are actually falling into the water.
Yeah.
And but it needs to be taken down because it's a public safety issue. It's an environmental issue. But we should have a new bridge, and it should allow first responders on there.
Well, so that you're aware of the fact that the Wharf District Council did our conceptual master plan for climate zones. I know you are aware of that, and part of that was to have the deployable floodgate at the entrance to the channel, which would occur in that same location. And so while the design of the bridge was beautiful, that particular location, that particular design wouldn't coincide with the construction of the floodgate. So whatever happens, it needs to do, at a minimum, it has to do the floodgate, which could have a bridge on top of it or in some way coordinated with it, but it's not, we can't just go back to that lovely design that we had before because it just doesn't, it's no longer relevant.
I agree, and I know the Boston Water and Soil Commission
Absolutely.
is also now involved in that particular issue. And over the last 4 years, as we have not come to a decision on what the future of the bridge is, it's probably doubled in price
Yeah.
in 4 or 5 years. You know, that's taxpayer money, but we do need to get a new bridge. And we had the money before under Biden with Congressman Lynch advocating for it and getting it for us, but he just wasn't able to support a bridge that didn't allow first responders over it. He couldn't justify that. I don't think I could justify it either. Not having a bridge where first responders or some vehicles are able to ride over it.
Other questions for Council?
You just promoted it.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to remind everybody that Councilor Flynn and others will be joining us on July 23rd at the Aquarium for our big event to talk about climate resilience and to unveil the movie that we've been working on for so long. To have a great conversation about funding of climate resilience for the Harbor's Edge. So thank you for planning to come to that and for all of your support along the way.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you for the invitation to be here with you tonight. I have great respect for this neighborhood. And thank you for the opportunity. I have one event that I'm going to at, it's about the P&G Gillette redesign over here at Fort Point. So I'm going to excuse myself if that's okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sean, if I can interrupt.
Yeah, thank you for making this the safest room in Boston.
Absolutely.
Is Max Baker here?
That's probably my fault. Because I'll think about it, but I didn't say, you know, you then get back to me, so. Can we just make sure that everybody understands that, district is represented by two, district council. I'm supposed to take. I just want to make sure that everyone knows that the Wharf District neighborhood is represented by two district councils. We've got about 2/3 of our district, which is District 1, which is Councilor Gigi Coletta, Zapata. And then District 2 is from Congress Street, from the Moakley Bridge Street. Seaport Ave. From Seaport Ave down to Congress Street is represented by Councilor Flynn. So I think it's.
And we got a two.
Yes, exactly. So I just, in case folks didn't realize that, I just wanted to make that known.
Thank you. Matthew, would you like to tell us a little bit about what's going on?
Sure. I was not able to, on short notice, put together an actual slide deck, but hi, everybody. Matthew Peracchi here from Boston Harbor City Cruises.
And our vice president.
We often shorten it to BHCC for convenience sake. I'm gonna pass around a few of these, and I have just another piece of material here to pass around. I would bring your attention first, and actually, Mark, I sent an email that has an attachment to it, if you want to share it with folks on the call, if you're able. I'll bring your attention to this larger sheet. BHCC and City Cruises US, the national company, has for the last several months has a new promotion called City Cruises Live, where we have a series of live events of various cultural and musical interest, and other things too. But we already had a culinary cruise with Chef Adrian, who's an award-winning chef from Miami. We had our first Red Sox cruise with Kevin Millar and a couple of teammates from the 2004 championship Red Sox series, our Red Sox team. And Millar and teammates are coming back on August the 17th and September 14th. We had a fantastic jazz sunset cruise with Neal Hartman, who is a terrific jazz saxophonist, teaches at Berklee College of Music. Want to come around to you, Suzanne? Any X-rays? Or here's a small. Yeah. And that was a terrific event. Coming up for aficionados of country music, we've got Randy Hauser, who's going to be on the Spirit of Boston on August the 1st. And then right after that, an evening with two of the musicians from a band called Sister Hazel. I'm not familiar with them, but I guess they were popular about 10, 15 years ago and are still kicking. And so we got other things that are coming out, including two more Red Sox. Here's a larger version for this, Suzanne. And so these are all events that are either on the Odyssey or on the Spirit of Boston, which is over in the Seaport District. And you'll notice at the bottom of this flyer, and this is something maybe we could put in the chat, Marc, there's a special discount code that we developed specifically for residential buildings along along the waterfront, both here in the Wharf District and over in the Seaport District. And you'll see on here, there's a coupon code that's good for 20% off. It says Boston 20BD. Just enter that if you want to make a reservation for one of these upcoming City Cruises Live cruises. And you just put that in the coupon space at the end of the transaction and you get 20% off. So these are things that are intended to generate buzz and visibility and sort of a renewed interest on city cruises and our vessels and new kinds of offerings that we do, in addition to the things that you are already aware of. So City Cruises Live, you can check those out on our website and here's the website for you, citycruises.com/Boston is the easiest URL to use to get to our page. So that's City Cruises Live. And then, where'd that other thing go? Here, can I borrow this? Oh, I got one. Then there's another, I have more of these, but I didn't get enough around of these. Yeah, that's a couple more. Maybe it was. So this is a brochure that basically covers the broad variety of things that we do at City Cruises. The dining cruises you know about. We have the Odyssey right here behind us, and then the Spirit of Boston over in the Seaport District. We also have two smaller vessels, the Boston Elite and the Spirit Elite, which we often use for charters for groups of 50 up to like 120. And we have both events on these vessels, but we also have individual dining. Just folks who just want to go out for a fun dinner. We've got coming up in August actually is Dine Out, which we're participating in, which is a terrific introduction to dining on the vessels that can be coming up. And then we have all of our sightseeing and other experiences. So New England Aquarium Whale Watch, and I meant to pull up some of these. Every day I get emails from the whale watches. The naturalists take pictures out there at Stellwagen Bank, and I don't often read every word of the emails sent out there, but I do look at the pictures, and they're pretty spectacular. So the sightings have been very good so far this season. And if you've not been on a whale watch recently, I mean, it is a jaw-dropping, awe-inspiring experience. So that's the New England Aquarium Whale Watch, which leaves right over by the aquarium. We have our Cape Cod, Provincetown fast ferry that has departures throughout the day, every day. We have our historic harbor cruise, which is our basic, a 1-hour cruise to the harbor. Great thing if you have friends visiting around town. Just an introduction, a nice tootle around the harbor with, they'll tell you about the history, the architecture, get some postcard views of the city skyline. Godzilla, our splash boat or thrill ride, as we call it, which goes very fast and gets you very wet and a lot of fun, particularly on a hot day. And then the Salem Ferry is a lovely, about a 50-minute ride up to Salem. And again, a nice day trip just to get out and get on the water and to get a change of scenery. And then on our dining vessels in particular, we have private events, celebrations of all kinds, weddings, social events, corporate groups, all kinds of things, holiday parties. And that's on the dining vessel. So lots going on at City Cruises. And the newest thing are the City Cruises live events. And I invite you to explore those. There's a real variety of different things. We're also working on a stand-up comedy cruise that hopefully we'll get into place either this year or next. So lots of other things that are in store on City Cruises Live. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Anything you want to know? Pretty much an open book.
Well, on these special events, what are the prices on those before the?
Yes, they vary. Some like the Red Sox one is, I don't know, they're still playing with pricing. Like the Sunset Jazz Cruise was, I think, $149, but I mean, a really nice dinner, terrific entertainment. And I thought that was a pretty well priced. The Red Sox Cruise is more expensive, is around
Don't
$200.
these come with dinner? It's a dinner.
Yes. Does not include alcoholic beverages. That you have to pay for. But I think the Red Sox Cruise is around 200, a little more expensive. But you're rubbing elbows with championship players, and some of them like Millar. I mean, he's a character. That guy. He's very entertaining, and they're really
He's batshit crazy. I'll take that off.
So, and really, I mean, you're really up close and personal with these folks, which makes it very special. Randy Hauser, who's coming up, I know his music. He's got a really fine baritone, twangy country voice. And so anyway, they're great fun, and hopefully the 21st song will make them a little more attractive. So,
Great.
any other questions? Well, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Let me interject into.
Thank you. Oh, absolutely. Much appreciated. Thank you, Matthew.
You're welcome.
Our Vice President and Harbor Master. Chris, Cook.
Sure, I want to be respectful of time, Mark. How much time do I have? I could do an hour and a half. So I gotta take 10 to.
You have to fight with Joanne. She's up next.
Okay, I'll be like 5 minutes, Joanne, is that okay?
Oh, we can give you 7.
All right, thank you. I'll do 7. So, first off, I start with gratitude. It's just incredible as I sign thank you notes for the gala and for the support of the Greenway. It's all your addresses. So like, I'm just incredibly grateful for the support we get from this district. Not only financially, and philanthropically, but also just the sheer volunteerism from this district. It really makes a huge difference. The Rose Candy Greenway, and I know that extends, well into Joanne's Park as well. So very grateful for all that civic engagement. July is incredibly busy. August is busy, and then September is off the charts busy on the Greenway. Just a few highlights in July. Multiple concerts. I think people are aware of our collaboration with NEMPAC, the Jazz in the Park concerts. We also have additional concerts in Dewey Square. That's something new for us this year. We're trying to enliven Dewey Square some more. We obviously have a very consistent level of programming taking place in Chinatown. In your neighborhood specifically, on July 16th at 8 p.m., we're showing Point Break in the Wharf district.
Right.
35 millimeter. Unbelievable Patrick Swayze Reeves movie. It's really good to see on 35 millimeter. That's a partnership with Coolidge on the corner. So we'll send along the QR code and both the July and August events to Suzanne so she can distribute those out. But of course, that's in addition to the carousel, both the beer gardens that we have operating, the food truck, the fitness classes, the artisan market every weekend, and then again, the additional programming that we have in Shin Park, all of which is possible because of your support. So thank you very much for that. So we're incredibly busy. We actually think that you've noticed that because we border so many wonderful family-oriented cultural attractions, we do have a new marketing initiative where the Greenway is the Playway. We're going to be introducing that during our Truck and Tractor Day in August. It'll be a map It's a very playful map where kids can collect stickers. This goes back to an old idea that Joanne had about passport opportunities, so kids can collect stickers at different greenway elements, and it also has everything from Martin's Park and the Museum to the aquarium to the Boston Public Market. So the idea is that families really do feel welcome in the Wharf and beyond, and they don't necessarily have to spend a lot of money to have a really, really wonderful day. And again, Joanne's Park is an example of that. Our public art, the entire park is filled with public art right now. It's just extraordinary. 2 significant pieces in Chinatown, an amazing mural in Dewey Square. You then have these incredible hoop swings that I think most of you have already seen by now by Jahari, local artists. Lonnie Asuncion still is active in the Wharf District. That piece is up. And then as you go up to the north end, we have a complement piece to Larissa Rogers' piece, which replicates the poor pond of Henry Atkins' home, which of course is the framework of the house of a Black woman who owned her own property exactly on that spot at the Rose Kennedy Greenway 100 years before the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Just magnificent history to be celebrating as we head into the 250th anniversary. So we'll send along this information about these events. Of course, you know, all of our information around the public art and the programming is on our website. There's 2 things that I wanted to highlight for you all. First off, I am very grateful to Councilor Flynn. I think Melissa Lowe is still on the call. We work with the councilor and other councilors very hard on quality of life issues. To be honest, we work most specifically with them on issues related to Chinatown. We will continue to do so. I'm incredibly grateful for Melissa Lowe's leadership on that. But I also wanted to highlight that I do think we have an opportunity as a community and as the Greenway to make the public realm better. There are several folks in this room that I met with recently about 1 or 2 planting beds that are on East India Road that abut the Chavara property. They're right outside of our block by block maintenance facility that we rent. We're not petitioning, we're applying to the city for the ability to make improvements to those beds in partnership with a group of volunteers from Harbor Towers. So thanks to everyone involved with that effort. We think that's a potential pilot because a lot of the public realm around the Rose Kennedy Greenway, and when I mean around the Rose Kennedy Greenway, I mean specifically the trees that are along the city sidewalks that abut the Greenway are really in tough condition right now. I think the city has a lot of responsibilities. I think the likelihood that they're gonna make any improvements to those is low. I do think the Greenway has a leadership opportunity here in partnership with the community to adopt those spaces where we financially can make that work. And so there's tree grades that are trip hazards. There are trees that need pruning. There are planting beds that are underwhelming. So it's not going to be overnight, but I look forward to coming back to this community on a regular basis and talking about progress. You know, Joanne's space is beautiful and our space is beautiful. I keep referring to it as Joanne's space. Sorry about that. So trust me, when I was the Parks Commissioner, that was Joanne's space. But the last thing I'll say is it's the in-between spaces.
Yeah.
And the entire world is coming to visit our beautiful city in 2026. We want it to shine the best we can. So we're going to try to stretch a little bit. We have limited resources, but we're going to try to beautify the spaces around us. We think that's part of our civic responsibility, and we look forward to partnering you all on those efforts. We can't reach too far too quick because we still have, you know, our financial responsibility to the MassDOT property. But I just wanted to let you know. So as you see, you know, some Greenway folks that are a little bit off the Greenway, that's what we're going to be trying to do there. Is that fair, Suzanne? Is that fair? Okay.
Thank you.
Boss, board leadership. Okay, that's all, Mark. That's all I have.
That's great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So you will see us off the Greenway a little bit here and there. You know, and I'll give you a very small example. If you decide surface road, there's 36 tree pits that aren't weeded. We could weed those, right? And so like we won't get everything right away. So I gotta ask permission on some of this stuff there.
There's one
Yeah.
thing I would like to add to what you're saying.
Yeah.
there is a person in this room that volunteers regularly for the Greenway, and I'm not sure, Chris, you're aware of that. I'm sure you are,
Oh, yeah,
but would like to acknowledge this
Linda?
wonderful lady,
Yeah.
yes, for the work. I don't mean to embarrass you.
I think you just did.
It's fine, but she is just a wonder in terms of volunteering for the Greenway and the work that she does.
Yeah. And Linda, it's across a lot of disciplines, but I would think the only thing that outweighs Linda's dedication and work ethic is her empathy. You know, she sees the Greenway staff with all its faults and flaws, and everything is met with a wonderful understanding. And everything's met with the speed of trees and emotional intelligence. I'm just incredibly blessed to know you.
Thank you, but do you want to put others if you would like them to do it?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And so I do think we'll recruit some more volunteers, and as we can move along, but this is, it's too, and by the way, none of this actually is the city's fault. When the central artery finally closed out 2 years ago, the Public Improvement Commission had to take all these right-of-ways from Mass DOT. So overnight, the city inherited 100 different trees and different specifications and planting beds that they never had to take care of. And so it's just, it's like adding a whole nother park to the Parks Department. So
Is the bid working out?
the bid is fantastic. What I would say is our bid is a little bit insulated against some of the market forces that other commercial real estate is dealing with right now, meaning that our bid was capped in the value that it collects and that it sends to the Rose Kennedy Greenway. Therefore, any depreciation in those commercial real estate values has less of an impact because we haven't budgeted to X amount that they used to be worth, if that makes sense. Right, so our ceiling was much shorter than other business improvement districts where if the value goes up, the spending goes up. So we were capped. So that was, I think a lot of forethought went into that. So, we could potentially be in for a little bit tightening, a little bit of restricting, but proportionally, we are better off. Yeah.
Love having you there.
Thank you. Very appreciative. 7, it was like 8, right?
No, I stopped the time. You're doing so well, just let you go.
Joanne, what's going on with her?
Thank you very much. So this
Your
is
park.
Joanne's park. My grandchildren call it Grammy's Park.
Yeah.
We must remind ourselves that it is a city-owned park,
Yes.
Christopher Columbus Park. I would first like to thank Matthew and Chris for taking us away from falling bridges and broken sidewalks and noisy boats and errant scooters and putting us on a positive conversation. So, friends of Christopher Columbus Park, and I can attest with what Chris is saying, and I'm glad to understand how the ownership of some of this, it was hard to even figure out who owned these properties that are so neglected. Now, I think some of it, in my mind, is poor neighbors don't take care of property around them. But if DOT suddenly got all this property, and even just to Columbus Park, we pay, one of the things we do is we pay to get all the trees pruned and fertilized, and we take care of them and we baby them. And it's a lot of money, but when you have trees that aren't being cared for, they're walking down the street and they're hitting you in the face. And I don't mean just you tall guys, it'll hit all of us in the face. And then they're not healthy and the whole thing. So that's one reason that the Greenway looks so wonderful, and Columbus Park. And, the Friends of the Public Garden, where people who are volunteers and depending on raising money are putting into this city. That I think it's an embarrassment when people come out of the Harbor Garage and it's just like an annoying aquarium. And you just couldn't get an uglier welcome, and so whatever can be done there, will be done. But it's a shame it took some neighbors of Harbor Towers to kind of put up the flag and say, we don't like this. So thank you very much. I wanted to share my screen if I may.
You should see. Go ahead.
So I wanted to build a little bit off what Matthew was saying with all of these amazing experiences on the water. And you want to get away from all the
I
negativity
don't think
that
you're sharing.
I got it. I got it, thanks. I haven't done it yet.
Oh.
But you gave me information.
Great.
It's even an intro here.
It's leading up to it. I got you.
All those poor people at home, they're going, they are crazy. So, with everything that goes on that is so crazy, to get out onto one of these truly magnificent vessels is just such a getaway. And I can speak from experience about the Odyssey, and boy, do they know what they're doing on that crew. The food is amazing. And the staff is just, they're just there whenever you need them, they're friendly, and it's fabulous. So I have an opportunity for all of you. I know what you were saying, your prices for your different trips are. So we have a really wonderful value. That is the annual fundraiser for the Friends of Christopher Columbus Park. And so it's August 5th, and we have a full buffet, the salmon, chicken, and the food is just, I was amazed the first time we did this, honestly. People were just blown away. Some wonderful little desserts, of course, it's a cash bar. It's our only real fundraiser, our major support flows me away. So delighted with what the Friends of Christopher Columbus Park does for and in that park. And they donate an entire deck of this gorgeous Odyssey to us. If we were to rent that, it would be about $15,000, if not more. And that's their big thank you to us for what we do. So that's just overwhelmingly wonderful. And they've been doing this for years. So it's August 5th, and it's $100 a ticket. And it's all a lot of friends and neighbors, and last year we had a young couple come on, and I forget where they were from, Revere or somewhere, and she seemed a little uncomfortable, and then she got real comfortable towards the end of the trip, when he got down on bended knee. Oh, yeah, it was so cute, yeah. And of course, that's what Columbus Park is known for. It's the odd moment when you don't see some guy on bended knee and a girl crying, and it's just so. And then you go and say, can I take your picture? So this is just an extension and all the support and all the people who are coming. So again, it's August 5th. You can go to our website, foccp.org, and buy the tickets. And we'd love to have you, and thank everybody again at this table for all the support that they give us. It's just wonderful. So with that, I'm gonna keep this positive spirit going.
Quick question. There was a question about the name of the park at one point.
I thought we were gonna keep this.
Is that still an issue? I didn't mean to bring up,
Well,
much controversy.
so I think we all know the controversy with Christopher Columbus, the name. Took many, many years for it to get to the East Coast. I lived in the West for a long time. So when I moved back here almost 30 years ago, I was shocked that people had no comprehension. So at this point, it still says Christopher Columbus Park. That's still the name of our group. The city has not done anything, and they haven't changed anything. The statue got removed after it lost its head for about the third time. And at that point, it was so badly damaged, it was quite a bit to make it, to fix it. So they thought that it would be a great idea. They put it at the Knights of Columbus in the North End, one of the back streets. And so I think that sufficed for a while, but then I don't know how it happened. But there were people in the North End who got the statue moved. And it is in the lovely garden in front of St. Leonard's Church, along with the Lady of Fatima and all these other, I think it's Saint Francis. So all these other saints, and there's Christopher. So maybe nobody can even tell who he is. The other head, well, he's such a small guy. So we're just We're Switzerland, so, and as it should be, but it's hard for us because we used to have events on Columbus Day weekend for children, one of the ones we do. And we had to change the weekend because of the protests. So now we have a fall festival, which is fine, it's still fun, still good. But, so thanks, Mark.
Just in case anyone's interested, and it's not Joanne's role, there's a very specific process for renaming public parks. So if anyone's interested, there's a very specific process. It follows there's one way to do it. You do it through the Parks Commission, and that information is readily available.
Whoever wants to take it up.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Joanne. and Thank you for making it such a wonderful, wonderful place to visit and look forward to that cruise. I think we talked about State Street, already. So, but Chris, do you want to say something about, hometown front?
Not much to update. Hi everyone, my name's Chris Crompton. I'm the regional manager for Historic Tours of America, parent company of Old Town Trolley Tours. It's been a while since I've been here. I seem to be traveling every week right now, so it's usually my colleague Tim, the general manager, who's here. But tonight I am standing in for him. What to say? It's been an interesting season this year. You know, notwithstanding all the challenges for the tourism industry nationwide. I think the challenges we're seeing in Boston are much the same from what I'm aware of. State Street is an ongoing issue for, I think, almost all of us. It's potentially good news that they're reviewing some of the issues with the bike lanes. Absolutely, that's something we would welcome after sitting in the congestion every single day. It reached a point this year where we actually completely overhauled our entire product and split the route that we've been running for the best part of 40 years. We actually split it and had to compromise it because the traffic is getting so bad. Just in the last 5 years, the single route we were running, it's gone from being an hour and a half to a 3.5 hour route. And it's just not sustainable. So we've had to make some changes, as have a lot of people, in order to cope with the demands of the city. And it's very odd because tourism numbers nationwide are significantly down this year. The tourism numbers in Boston are significantly down. Mainly because the Canadians don't want to talk to us anymore and the Europeans are not coming to see us. I think Canadian visitation, according to the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism, is down 36-37% year on year. The Europeans are going elsewhere as well, but it doesn't seem to have impacted the traffic. So Boston is clearly not a driving destination. I think that's for sure. But other than that, we've seen a bit of a glimmer these last few weeks. We've started to see, as I'm sure Matthew has, numbers picking up a little bit. We're not back where we need to be, but we're certainly heading in the right direction. The biggest challenge we have in the city, as ever, it's not so much the rules and regulations. The rules and regulations are there. It's the enforcement. It's the challenge that the authorities have with recruitment, with having enough people, enough resources to get out there. It's a perpetual battle when you talk to BPD or the BTD, and they're desperately trying to recruit enough people so that they can do the job. And it's tough when they're so short of people. That's I think one of the biggest problems that we have still to this day.
Well, continued success.
Thank you. It's nice to see you all again.
Always welcome.
I have one addendum.
Sure, please.
Actually, two-part addendum. One is I want to recommend, if you all have never done it, the Goats and Grapestones tour, the nighttime tour that Old Town Charlie does, is really fun. It's very theatrical. And it's theatrical, yet historically well informed. You're taken into the burying grounds at night. It's a lot of fun. And then there was something else I mentioned that I failed to mention about BACC. And thank you for the kind words, Joanne. I really appreciate that. We have a couple of things coming up. I just went and took through the auspices of Boston Harbor Now and the DCR. This past Saturday night, I went out and did the Summer Nights on Spectacle, which is a series of Saturday night events out on Spectacle Island. And we had a terrific time. It was a beautiful evening. They had musicians from Berkeley. They had Luke's Lobster was out there. And I can't remember the name of the liquor company, like 67 Degrees or something like that. Anyway, it was just a beautiful evening, a lot of fun. And they've got several of those Saturday night things sprinkled throughout the summer. And I really recommend it. It's a great time. And I also, this coming Thursday, the Harbor Islands have a series of Thursday night activities. One of which is a clam bake, and then the one this coming Thursday is called a new thing called the Prosecco Picnic. Also out on Spectacle. We provide the transportation for it, but there's Prosecco and there's sort of a picnic dinner that they have available, and just a really nice time. And as you said, Joanne, just getting out of the city and kind of seeing the city from a different perspective out on the islands, it's a real pleasure, and I recommend that. Weather dependent, of course, but depending on the weather, but it's a really nice nice time out there. So I wanted to mention those as well.
Great.
Thank
And
you.
if I could say, even just taking the boat to Spectacle Island and
Yeah.
just walking around, or George's
Yes.
I love.
George's,
I just get
unfortunately,
lost out there.
George's is closed for the time being, and it may actually be closed the rest of the summer. We're waiting to get word from the DCR about that, but they've had to make repairs, some significant repairs to the water line that runs from Hull.
Last year.
Yeah, so that's been a trial.
Too bad.
Great, thank you both. Do we have?
I wanted to
Somebody talk
mention,
about
yeah.
Right, yeah.
I came across this morning. I know this group has had, we've had folks speak to us about the conversion, the residential conversion of buildings. In the Wharf District neighborhood, it seems to be something that the city is focusing on more and more. I just received notice of a conversion of the office building to include residential units down by, it's at 150 Milk, which is in that same block as the Custom House restaurant and the granary. That end, which used to be offices, they are converting the top 2 to 5 floors into residential apartments, 18 new multifamily dwellings across floors 2 to 5. And the ground floor will continue to be retail. And the ground floor will also include a residential lobby, associated amenities. And this is going through the beginning of the project phases. So I will ask them to come into our next meeting. What I'd like to do also is have them come and talk about what they are doing to other buildings here in the Wharf District. Because they're not coming to us to ask for letters of support, they're just converting these buildings. There are 2 across from the Post Office Square Block. There's also 2 on Franklin Street. And
So when you say to talk to them, you're talking about the city or you're talking?
the city,
Yeah,
the city folks, yes, who are doing the converting.
yeah, it'd be nice to know. When we're always, as far as I can tell, we've always been a bigger, but it's nice to know, right?
Right, right.
Suzanne, is that the same ownership group as the restaurant over there, or is it a separate ownership of that building?
I don't know, I know that the Glynn Group owns a good chunk of the building.
Right.
Now, whether you know, whether this back portion
Could be entirely separate.
belongs to them or not, I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
So Suzanne, the individual who runs the program for the city has presented to Nura and Nunik. He does an excellent presentation, so I think he'd be terrific to.
Yeah, I
to
think
come
they've been
and
there
attend.
before, one point, it was a while.
They came before us about a year ago regarding the conversion of a Franklin Street.
Okay, yeah,
Right, right.
But now they're doing more and more, and I think it's important. Because they do view this neighborhood as evolving into a mix, as they call it, a mixed use fabric with business and residential.
I think I just want to comment if I may. I think one of the things that's attractive about this type of project is that it's preserving the historic nature of the building while still sort of modernizing it inside.
Generally speaking, they have all, yeah.
Yeah, and that really helps in terms of the preservation of our neighborhood.
As you can see, it's basically these older buildings.
Yeah.
Because
Here's smaller footprints.
they're
Right, right.
smaller, and they also they're also conducive to converting into residences versus the bigger buildings.
Right.
Which have an infrastructure that's prohibitive.
Right.
Hold it up so the camera can see.
Oh, I'm sorry, I did send it to the folks. I don't know, you can take it. You do it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Great, thank you, Suzanne.
So that was, then we go.
Right, okay, so, I'd just like to remind everybody that on July 23rd, next week, at the aquarium, we have the unveiling of the video that we have been working on for the past 6 months. We are going to have a number of our electeds there to tell us a little bit about what a great room we are. And we will have Melissa Hoffer, Chief Climate Officer for City of Boston and
For the state.
sorry,
State,
state,
yeah.
the state.
Joe Mack.
Harvard senior lecturer, I think is his title, John Macomber. And they're gonna talk about funding strategies for climate resilience. Please do RISVIP so that, Suzanne knows how much food to have.
Yes,
And
exactly.
otherwise. I think it's gonna be a really special event. And so, we would like to encourage you all to come. I hope you're excited by seeing the video, because it's a follow-on from your generous donation of however many years ago that was, 5 years ago, I guess.
It was a while.
Yeah, but,
Yeah,
these things have legs.
certainly curious about what you've done with it.
Yeah, well, it's different, but it's building on.
What time is this one?
This is, we're starting at,
5:30
5:30
for food.
for food and chat at the aquarium.
Then the program will go on between 6, 6:15, depending on how much chatting people are doing at the reception.
Right.
And it's only an hour.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
We're not planning on having a meeting in August, as we typically don't, so Suzanne can take a breath.
Thank God, because this agenda completely changed.
Yeah. Chuck and John. Todd Sterner is joining us for the first time. What do you think?
Make an introduction. So, hi everybody, I'm Todd Stringer. I live at Atlantic Wharf. I am a father of two, so I also have 2 children who live with me half-time at Atlantic Wharf. I've been there 2 years. I also a civil engineer. I've worked with Marc in the AEC, which is architecture, engineering, construction industry for many years when he's still with his firm, and still be with his firm. But I, as a resident and a business owner, I have my own business now, it's Stringer Project Management, so I have no alignment or affiliation or agenda, except for to have specific impact to the community which we all live in. I look at the Greenway every day, my kids walk the Greenway all the time, especially on the weekends, and I wanted to get engaged. I didn't know about the Wharf District council until I saw a post on LinkedIn from Marc. I immediately emailed him and said, how can I get involved? How can I get engaged? And how can I help? Be involved to make this life a better place. I have a large network, which is a beneficiary to a lot of us here in business owners, commercial real estate, owners that are here downtown. And actively involved in a lot of different construction type projects throughout my 25-year career. For a lot of those buildings, the trees, the parks, the sidewalks, the ADA compliance, all these things. How do you deal with the trees in terms of the landscape soil and what goes into all that? I've addressed a lot of these in my professional career, so in order to help utilize my network to help engage more involvement and awareness to the Wharf District Council is sort of, I think, how Marc and I had discussed earlier today, is one of the ways that I can be involved. And then help Councilor promote some of the other groups that are here to help better the community that we all live in, work in, and are committed to. So, and that's being younger, I'm 43. And my kids are here all the time, and like I have an invested interest. I'm not going anywhere. I've had a business or been involved in a business and have worked in this area since 2000. Right, I'm a civil engineer from Northeastern, so I've been in Boston for a very long time. I'm not going anywhere, and this is my opportunity to give back and get involved with this as my civic effort. So thank you all for having me. And I'm looking forward to getting to know all of you guys a lot more. So
John and Matthew are gonna work together on membership, and we're just gonna increase our ranks.
thanks,
Thanks, Todd.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Anybody in Zoom land would like to say something before we wrap things up?
I want to.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Nope, you ladies first.
This is Kathy Abbott. I just want to thank Matt Murphy for doing such a great job of representing the Boston Harbor Now programs. Matt, thank you.
Sure.
Of course.
That's great. Kathy, good to see you. Let's see, Ken Smith.
Hi, this is Ken Smith. My first time meeting here. So quick comments. I actually serve on the Energy and Environment Commission down in Newport, Rhode Island, where I have property. And this is a really very well run group, I gotta say. You guys do a great job here. I am launching a brand new nonprofit climate resilience project. We are raising funds for climate resilience in Boston. I sit on the United Nations committee. I'm actually the only American on the committee. And I just sent more information in the chat room. We're having an online event on the 23rd at 1 p.m. I hope some folks can make it from here. There's more information on LinkedIn. We're all over social media, et cetera. And we're raising funds, hopefully to put back some of the $120 million taken away from the administration.
Great. Well, Ken, I think you'll be very interested if you're able to attend at the aquarium, because that the topic of that that Melissa Hopper and John McEnroe are going to address is question of funding.
Yeah, and Marc, that's my area of expertise is funding for climate resilience. How do we get there?
Yeah, great. Well, we need the money. Fern, you have your hand raised.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Another great meeting as always. I just kind of wanted to let everyone know that we won Reader's Choice of Best of Boston for dispensary. So another thing to add to the Wharf District, and Espresso Love actually won Best Coffee Shop too. So a lot of victories laps going around in our little neighborhood.
Great, well done, Fern.
Yeah. Thank you.
So you can get either caffeine or cannabis. Is that the idea?
Yes, same block. Yeah, same block.
Great. Anybody else? Anything?
Well, I did Jahari Ortega's piece, Big Hoops to Fill, the public art piece, The Swings, that one, Best Hidden Gem. So the Wharf's doing very well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. All right. No meeting in August. We'll see you all in September.
16th.
16th. Great.
And hopefully
on the 23rd. Please do sign up and come along.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
See you next.